Greetings to all. A warm welcome, my dear sisters and brothers and my dear friends. You all are welcome to a new broadcast in The Way to Love, Meditations for Life. This is your Pastor Yeti. The kingdom of heaven has suffered violence, and men of violence take it by force. Matthew 11, verse 12. Compare the serene and simple splendor of a rose in bloom, which then tensions and restlessness of your life. The rose as a gift that you lack. It is perfectly content to be itself. It has not been programmed from birth as you have been, to be dissatisfied with itself. So it has not the slightest urge to be anything other than it is. That is why it possesses the artless grace and absence of inner conflict that among humans is only found in little children and mystics. Consider your sad condition. You are always dissatisfied with yourself, always wanting to change yourself, so you are full of violence and self-intolerance, which only grows with every effort that you make to change yourself. So any change you achieve is always accompanied by inner conflict. And you suffer when you see others achieve that what you have not and become what you are not. Would you be tormented by jealousy and envy if, like the rose, you were content to be what you are and never aspire to what you are not? But you are driven, are you not, to be like someone else who has more knowledge, better looks, more popularity or success than you. You want to become more virtuous, more loving, more meditative, and you want to find God, to come closer to your ideals. Think of the sad history of your efforts at self-improvement that either ended in disaster or succeeded only at the cost of struggle and pain. Now, suppose you digested from all efforts to change yourself. And from all dissatisfaction, would you then be doomed to go to sleep heavily, passively accepted everything in you and around you? There is another way besides laborious self-pushing on the one hand, and stagnant acceptance on the other. It is the way of self-understanding. This is far from easy because to understand what you are requires complete freedom from all desire to change what you are in to something else. You will see this if you compare the attitude of a scientist who studies the habits of ants without the slightest desire to change them with the attitude of a dog trainer who studies the habits of a dog with a view to making it learn something. If what you attempt is not to change yourself, but to observe yourself, to study every one of your reactions to people and things without judgment or condemnation or desire to reform yourself, your observation will be non-selective, comprehensive, never fixed on rigid conclusions, always open and fresh from moment to moment. then you will notice a marvelous thing happening within you. You will be flooded with the light of awareness. You will become transparent and transformed. Will change occur then? Oh yes, in you and in your surroundings. But it will not be brought about by your cunning, restless ego that is forever competing, comparing, coercing, sermonizing, manipulating in its intolerance and its ambitions, and thereby creating tension and conflict and resistance between you and nature. An exhausting, self-defeating process like driving with your brakes on. No, the transforming light of awareness brushes aside your schemings. Self-seeking ego to go natureful, and to bring about kind of change that she produces in the rose. Artless, graceful, and less unself-conscious, wholesome, untamed by inner conflict. Since all change is violent, she will be violent. But the marvelous quality of nature violence, unlike ego violence, is that it does not spring from intolerance and self-hatred. So there is no anger in the rainstorm that carries everything before it, or the fish that devour their young in obedience the ecological laws who know not, or body cells when they destroy each other in the interest of a higher good. When nature destroys, it is not from ambition or greed or self-aggrandizement, but in obedience to mysterious laws that seeks the good of the whole universe above, the survival and well-being of the parts. It is this kind of violence that arises within mystics who storm against ideas and structures that have become entrenched in their societies and cultures when awareness awakens them to evils their contemporaries are blind to. It is this violence that causes the rose to come into being in the face of forces hostile to it. And it is to this violence that the rose, like the mystic, will sweetly succumb after it has opened its petals to the sun, and lives in fragile feeling lovingness, quite unconcerned to add a single extra minute to its allotted span of life. And so, it lives in blessedness and beauty like the birds of the air and the flowers of the field, with no trace of the restlessness and dissatisfaction, the jealousy and anxiety and competitiveness that characterizes the world of human beings who seek to control and coerce rather than being content to flower into awareness, leaving all change to the mighty force of God in nature. This is a very beautiful image, how you let go of that ego which blocks you, and it's very beautiful, symbolized that it's like driving with your brakes on. I'm not saying in this meditative way that we don't have to do what we need to do in moving on in this life. It's not being said that letting go is leaving all our bills here and whatever. No. It is coming to a awareness where, like in the rose, nature will unfold her and shows the beauty outside. What happens inside will also reveal to the outside. And happiness has nothing to do with all you buy. It is in contentness that maybe happens by struggle, because if we study the mystics, their life is not or was not on a very smooth path. but they found the peace that is beyond understanding, even in their struggles, even in their suffering. May God give you that peace within. This is your Pastor Yeti.